Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life. Thanks for joining us for this episode. I want you to keep this date in mind, April 9th at the Firefly Coffee House from 3 to 6 p.m. You're going to have a tour of these amazing bandolier bags that have been cared for by the gentleman you're going to meet in a moment. And I want to thank Michael for his time and for keeping these treasures safe so the public can view them. And it honors our Native Americans here in Wisconsin and throughout the country. Also, Michael talks about his journey of being with Native Americans, which is fascinating, and his knowledge is deep and vast of the art and the culture, and it was a pleasure to talk with him. So enjoy this episode.
I came to be involved in Native American things through scouting, like it's happened with a lot of white guys. Through scouts, you get involved with some Native American stuff, and I went to a powwow when I was a kid. I was about 13, and met some other kids my age there, and they were Native, and they happened to be, at that time we called them Winnebagos, but now they're known as the Ho-Chunk people. And next time I went to a powwow with some other older guys, the same guys were there, and we became friends. And by the time I was 16 years old, I was traveling the powwow circuit in the summers. And I keep running into these guys all over. And then we would actually agree to meet up at certain powwows and stuff throughout the Midwest. When I was like 16, I was already going to big powwows like at Crow Fair, Montana, Rosebud Reservation, some of those. So it's kind of like if you grew up in a neighborhood and your neighbor kid that you play with and stuff is Jewish, you end up knowing everything about bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs and everything else. And that's kind of what happened, as I was just kind of brought along and hung out. As I went around places, a lot of people thought I was mixed blood. I was part Indian. And no, I've always said I'm not Native at all. Sometimes we joke that I'm Native through contamination, because I've been running around with them so long. We had some of the same interests. A lot of it had to do with partying. You know, we used to like kind of run around and raise hell together. But I was always interested in just the Native American stuff, and I'm not really sure where that came from, except that maybe it was through scouting. But I left the scouting part behind by the time I was 16 years old, and because a lot of it was wrong, and then I learned that from my new friends. As a couple of years later, I'm in college in Madison, and some people I knew, natives, were going to school here, and so I did a lot with what's called Wangshik, which was the Native American student organization on campus. So I knew a lot of those people, and that was intertribal. That was a lot of Ojibways, Menominees, Potawatomis, people from all over. So it was still during that era of the 1970s when American Indian movement was going, the takeover of Alcatraz, the occupation at Wounded Knee. There was all the radical stuff going on, and it's still at the same time as the anti-war stuff. So all of that was going on. Well, I was involved in some of that through the people I knew that were involved. And those friendships from there have gone on to this day that I made in college. Actually, one of my best Native friends who's Ho Chunk. His wife, who he's married to now, is Ho Chunk, and I've known her, and she grew up in Madison, and we've known each other for, 50 years. So we've made a lot of, close friends. And then in Indian Way, when you're brought in and you're accepted, they will call you their brother, whatever, and that means you're part of the family. And now today, I couldn't tell you how many kids call me uncle or choka, grandfather. At the beginning of our show, I have a photograph here, and this is a Ho Chunk photograph taken by a guy named Charles Van Scoik. And in this picture, they're wearing Potawatomi bags. If you notice, this bag looks a lot like the bag that's hanging to the right here. This bag here, what he's wearing here, is a lot like a bag I have hanging in another part of the show. So they were trade items, and somehow they were either gifted or traded for something else to get these bags. These are not Ho Chunk style bags. But it's Ho Chunks with Potawatomi bags. Now, if you look at the other bags on the other side of the room, these are all Ho Chunk bags. This is a completely different kind of bag. These are not applique stitched bags like those. These are loomed bags made on a loom. And the Ho Chunk bags, I had some people say, well, why are there Christian crosses on here? Well, those aren't Christian crosses. They're the same size this way as this way. A Christian cross always is longer on the bottom. That cross existed long before Christianity did. So, but these bags are all loom beaded, and they have this is a stereotypical Ho Chunk bag with the offset straps. Well, they've started putting the offset straps on so that the bag fit better. And you notice these bags too do not have a pocket in them. Pockets in the bandolier bags went out before the turn of the century. This bag does have a pocket in it, but they're not used to carry stuff because they always bulge out and they're decorative. If they carry something, it's just temporarily in them. This bag, it was from another part of the Ho Chunk area, which is Wittenberg, which is up towards Anago. And that's the kind of the far northeastern part of Ho Chunk territory now. This bag was made in Wittenberg, and you see it's from 1903. So most of these bags here are all around the turn of the century, of the last century. The Ho Chunk bags are, they're always kind of symmetrical Ho Chunk designs. So you have the three design here, which is repeated on the strap. The strap is continuous. It doesn't have a seam in the middle of it. And one reason we displayed the bags the way we did is so you could see the whole strap. This is a Ho Chunk bag also, but it doesn't have the offset straps. But if you look at it, everything is the same from one side to the other. The strap design mirrors each other, and it's the same all the way around. Same with like this this loom bag here. It's the same. It's a continuous strap. Okay, these are Ojibwe bags. But if you look at the Ojibwe bags compared to the Ho-Chunk bags, the designs are kind of free-flowing. The designs do not match back and forth. The straps are not the same from one end to the other. The straps usually almost always have a seam in the middle at the top, which is hard to see here. And the same with this bag, but then you see in the straps how it changes. This bag also, the maker made it for somebody whose name was Sutton, which is beaded at the top of the bag, and then it was in Danbury, Wisconsin, which is right outside of one of the Ojibwe reservations in Wisconsin. Yeah, the bags, the applique bags, and even the loom woven bags of the Ho-Chunk, they all take about a year to make. And that's pretty consistent work to get it done in a year. But these bags, they try to make one a year because they traded them. Most of these bags were either made to be a gift for someone or somebody in the family, or they used them to trade. And one of the terms for these bags, well, one term is a friendship bag. That's why they were gifted to friends. And the other is a pony bag, because they say that these bags were worth the price of one pony or a horse. And especially like towards Minnesota and stuff, the Ojibwe tribes there would trade for horses, the bags for horses with the Lakota people and the Sioux, it was a good trade. It was a pony for a bag. The Ho-Chunk bags were pretty much made just for themselves, for the Ho-Chunk or as gifts. They did not trade for horses. But you'll see a lot of pictures of the Ho-Chunk people wearing bags from Ojibwe bags. And they would actually go up north with horses and trade them to the Ojibwe for the bags. And it was just another form of trading which had been gone on for thousands of years in Indian country. Whether there was trading pipestone in Minnesota for the Calumet pipes, or furs. They would even trade metal goods. The Ho-Chunk were big. At one time, they controlled all of the lead mining regions in southwestern Wisconsin, which are then, before he was Governor Doty, took over and violated all the treaties in that area because it was valuable. And here the Ho-Chunk have been trading that lead for 1,000 years to other people. So it was just another trade item.